Good day everyone. Today I will discuss about discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity and expression or SOGI in the Philippines. Our objectives for today are understand the issue on human rights violations and discrimination on the basis of SOGI. Next, understand the impact of human rights violation and discrimination to the Filipino society and formulate activities and programs to address this human rights violation and discrimination on the basis of SOGI. The abbreviation of SOGI stands for Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity and Expression. Sexuality is different from sex, as the former is the expression of a person's thoughts, feelings, sexual orientation, and relationships, as well as the biology of the sexual response system of the person. The different terms standing for SOGI are further defined below. First, sexual orientation covers the three dimensions of sexuality, namely letter A, sexual attraction, sexual behavior, sexual fantasies. Letter B, emotional preference, social preference, self-identification. And letter C, heterosexual or homosexual life. Sexual orientation involves the person who one is attracted and how identifies himself or herself in relation to this attraction, which includes both romantic and sexual feelings. Gender identity refers to one's personal experience of gender or social relations. It determines how one sees himself or herself in relation to gender and sexuality. A person could identify himself or herself as a masculine or feminine. Gender expression determines how one expresses his or her sexuality through the actions or manner of presenting. Now, let's discuss existing the international and national legal frameworks for SOGI protection. First, the Universal Policy, which is Articles 2 to 3 and 26 of the Constitution, provide for the respect, equality, and non-discrimination of all individuals on the grounds of inter alia, race, color, and sex. In the landmark decision of Tonin v. Australia in 1994, it is found not only that the reference to sex in Article 2 and 26 must be taken to include sexual orientation, but also that laws which criminalize consensual homosexual acts expressly violate the privacy protection of the law. The universal policy protects everyone's rights to be treated equally with the respect. In articles, the convention say that all people should be treated fairly, no matter their race or color or sex. In the 1994 case called Tonin v. Australia, it was decided that the word sex also includes sexual orientation, like being gay or straight. This case also called that laws punishing same-sex relationships between adults are against the right to privacy and are not allowed under this law. National and local policies. LGUs from different cities all over the Philippines have been proactively passing and filing city ordinances banning LGBT discrimination. Presently, the anti-discriminatory bill is still pending before the Congress. This bill is expected to be signed into law before the end of the Duterte administration. Prior to this bill, several LGUs have enacted ordinances and resolutions to address these issues. National and local policies. Many local governments in the different Philippine cities have already passed laws that ban discrimination against LGBT people. A national law called the Anti-Discriminatory Bill is currently under review in Congress and is expected to become law before the end of the Duterte administration. Even before this national bill, several local government units have already enacted their own rules to address and prevent discrimination. Next, the effect of state discrimination in society. The state's treatment of LGBT individuals intensifies the discrimination on the basis of SOGI within Philippines society and social institution. Homophobia, the stigma and prejudice towards LGBT persons are very present within Filipino society, creating a dangerous climate of hostility toward LGBT people. Effect of state discrimination in society. The government's unfair treatment of LGBT individuals makes discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity worse throughout Philippine society. This negative treatment fuels homophobia, stigma, and prejudice against LGBT people. As a result, many social institutions like schools, place, and communities become hostile environment for LGBT individuals. Next, the discrimination by the Catholic Church. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, and Episcopal Commission on the Family and Life, or ECFL, has been fervently demanding Congress for the removal of sex, gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity in the Comprehensive Anti-Discrimination Ordinance filed in the Senate and the House of Representatives, claiming that its inclusion will only create problems regarding ethics, marriage, the family, and religious freedom, and reasons that the difference in sex or gender does not belong to the same level as the difference in race, color, religion, or ethnicity. Discrimination by the Catholic Church. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, and the Episcopal Commission on Family and Life, or ECFL, are arguing Congress to remove the term sex, gender, or sexual orientation and gender identity from anti-discrimination laws. They argued that including these terms would lead to issues with ethics, marriage, the family, and religious freedom. They also believe that differences in sex or gender are not as significant as differences in race, color, religion, or ethnicity. Participation of the members of LGBTQ+ in public life. Article 15 of the Convention provides for the right to each citizen to participate in public affairs to both and to have equal access to public service in the country. These rights are provided to free of reasonable restriction and free from distinctions made on the basis of sex, which, as mentioned above, includes sexual orientation. Participation of LGBTQ+ members in public life. So, Article 25 of the Convention guarantees every citizen the right to take part in public affairs, vote, and access public services equally. This means that rights must be available without reasonable restrictions or discrimination based on sex, which include sexual orientation. Discrimination in the military. Through their media announcements, it seems on the surface that the Philippine military and the police are adhering to the non-discrimination clause of the Philippine Constitution, Article 2, and the ICCPR by its declaration of openness to admit gays, lesbians, and bisexual persons in military and police services. Discrimination in the military. So, media announcements indicate that both the military and the police in the Philippines claim to follow the country's non-discrimination law rule and the ICCPR. They state that they are open to recruiting gays, lesbians, and bisexual persons for service, which shows an effort to include everyone regardless of sexual orientation.